Yeah, over there.
Well, I think the best way that the wellness program helps to really prepare the health ambassadors is by giving them real life experience, by having the students working in the community, actually doing projects with real people with real community issues. It really gives them the opportunity to practice their trade.
We now understand fully that access to healthcare and healthcare only contributes a small percentage, maybe 10 to 15% of one's health. So what these young people are doing, they're doing projects that speak directly to the social determinants of health.
The disparities that the students choose are what they're passionate about. And by giving them the opportunity to identify what it is that they would like to work on, not only gives them that extra interest, but it also adds that passion into it.
The reality is that these private HBCUs are located in underserved communities. They're in the heart of the war zone. There was a need to really integrate young people into the communities as ambassadors for promoting change.
So the HBCU Wellness Program, initially for me, I wanted to just concentrate on dentistry. However, it broadened my perspective on overall health.
By growing the next generation of leaders with the skill set and the knowledge they need to make a difference, we're able to look upstream and say that in the future, we should be able to live in a world that does not have these same disparities.
It can be extremely discouraging going into a field that you know nothing about, being a first generation student, or just maybe just new to health, period. But when you're in an environment where you're exercising different opportunities to learn about different fields of health, it definitely solidifies your confidence and encourages you to just push through.
I've seen it really make a difference in how they see themselves and what they believe that they can do.
I cannot be more excited to think about more than 800 young people having been equipped with the tools they need to change the health status of their communities. What could be more impactful than that?
I just want to welcome all of you here in this space, a space that I have to say is always exciting for us because it represents the work that the students have done, starting with the Summer Institute that we held last July to where we are right now. And so, what you're about to hear are findings from those students. They represent communities across the state of Tennessee, and that is what we're charged to do. And how we do it is using a two-prong approach: student development and community engagement. And as our theme personifies and what it truly means by advancing health and wellness using this two-prong approach is really what you're going to hear from some of the students this evening. Now, the students who are presenting are not all of the students that have worked on this because we are in a virtual space and because of just things that have happened over the years with COVID and funding and just the rising cost of everything. We felt like the virtual space is more conducive to how we want to get this information out. We do record all of what is being presented, so there is access to it beyond tonight. And also, all of the students' work in probably about 3 to 4 weeks will be on our website, and you will see work done in done on various topics like domestic violence, cardiovascular disease, obesity reduction, infant mortality, health, emotional and mental health. You will hear findings that are reflective of issues that we may or may not know about, but are impacting our communities, like multiple myeloma, the pervasive presence of HIV/AIDS that is still impacting our communities. Just what we feel is not only important, but really they represent what the state of Tennessee's Department of Health identifies as issues that are still plaguing our communities. A lot of these issues are preventable, but while we say they're preventable, that only has meaning to those that understand how their decisions can affect their health. And so, what we ask our students to do is to work on projects that promote a change in how a person thinks, their behavior, and really their attitude. And we hope that this will be lasting change. We hope that this will be change that uh, influences decisions not only among the students and their peers and their families and our communities, but sustainable change that's reflective in moving the needle so these disparities, these health conditions are not so pervasive. We want Tennessee to move up the wrong. We don't want to stay at the bottom of the wrong. And I just think the work that the students have done and will continue to do is just so valuable and it's so important. So we salute our students that have worked all year, carrying an academic load, which is not easy, but they continue to show us that they can do it. And so I applaud their efforts. I ask you to just listen with an open mind and don't be afraid to ask questions. That also helps. Although some of our students are graduating, we do know that a lot of our students choose to move into the space of public health and other fields that reflect health. And so we want them to take forward information that will help continue to develop them. I have the pleasure now of introducing our Senior Vice President of Government Relations, Business Development, and Community Engagement for Meharry Medical College, Mr. Lawrence Hall, who has always been so supportive of this program and continues to help shepherd us onto the next levels. And when I say the next levels, all of what we do is presented to our funders, to the Tennessee Department of Health, to the members of the caucus at our General Assembly. And so we are just very honored to have Mr. Lawrence Hall here with us, and he just wants to share a few words with you.
Thank you, Dr. McGee. Can you hear me? I don't know if my...
Yes.
Thank you so much. Like you said, my name is Lawrence Hall. I'm the Senior Vice President for Government Affairs. On behalf of our President, Dr. James Hildreth, I want to bring you greetings. Today, we see this as a celebration and a culmination of all the hard work that our Student Health Ambassadors, you have done throughout this year, especially at a time when our country is going through a healthcare workforce crisis. This program is one that I believe kind of stands in the gap as a pipeline program and a workforce development program, and we're really happy and excited to be a part of that. At some point, we hope that this program can actually be a model for the rest of the country, and I think we're working toward that. But, you know, when you look at programs like this, you can't help but to say that there has to be a great staff. So we want to, thank the staff, thank the volunteers, thank everyone who's put in a lot of time to make this program a success. Not only that, we also want to thank our state partners. Our state partners have been really helpful to us. They have supported us when sometimes the funding was challenging, but they managed to help this program to become a recurring item in the budget. And hopefully in this budget and going forward, they may be able to find a little bit more resources to help us continue to move forward with this program. But last but not least, I also want to say, I know I mentioned the staff already, but I want to give a thank you to Dr. Lisa McDonald McGee. She has been a very strong person. She and Tawanda, I've worked with them for several years. This program was implemented back in 2006, so we are celebrating 20 years now. I don't know when the celebration is going to happen, but whenever it does, I think we should really celebrate it. This program is a model. And because of them and because of your help and because of the work that you do, the state sees that we are really making an effort to address this whole healthcare workforce and develop as a prime pipeline program. So greetings from me and Dr. Hildreth and Harry, and hope that the program is a success, and we're going to continue to work to bring in all the funds that we can to make this program grow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lawrence, and just continued gratitude to you and your team for the support of our efforts. And looking forward now to hear from the students. Now, all of the students, as I said, are not able to present in this virtual space, but in about 3 to 4 weeks on our website, you will see all of the projects that have been done over the past year. So we had a town hall about 2 or 3 weeks ago where students gave their findings to their peers, and we had some community partners that were present. And so this will be just a continuation of findings that will hopefully help us better understand what the needs are in the community. So with that, I will transition to the reports with our first campus.
Well, thank you for that, Lisa, and turning it over. I have the pleasure of working with 3 campuses along with working with the team at Meharry. So first up, from Austin Peay State University, our lone student at Austin Peay State University, who is a first-year student health ambassador, Ms. Deja Palmer. I'm super excited for her because we haven't had anyone to do HIV/AIDS in many years. So this year we had 3, so super excited, and Deja is one of those students who did it. So Deja, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can share your details and your findings from your project.
Thank you, Ms. Haygood. Hey guys, I'm Deja Palmer. I'm a student here at Austin Peay State University. I'm majoring in biology with a concentration in pre-medicine, in pre-pharmacy. And today I will be going over HIV awareness among African-American college students. My overall question was, does educational workshops increase knowledge and reduce stigma around HIV and AIDS among African-American college students in the Middle Tennessee area? My hypothesis was that participants will demonstrate a significant increase in knowledge and reducing stigma compared to the pretest results. So some of the methods that we use were recruiting people through social media, such as Instagram, GroupMe, and Facebook. And here at Austin Peay, we have something called Govs Connect. So that's like, our little hub for like, events. Of course, campus flyers and word of mouth. Our participants range from 18 to 30 from Fisk University and Austin Peay. And like some of the things, our methods that we use to do our workshop was when we first got on, we did a pre-test to kind of see like their knowledge before our workshop. And then we did a interactive session where our speaker, and which was followed by a Kahoot. And then after we did a post-test to see their knowledge gained. So overall, we thought about the gaps of HIV and AIDS education. I feel like HIV and AIDS, it's not really talked about, especially among college students. It's kind of like everybody think it's real touchy. It's real touchy. So when we talked about it, it's like it was better to hear from your peers and people that are around you. Our results. So our pre-test, you kind of see it was all over the place. And then you kind of see our post-test, it kind of came back to agree and strongly agree. Our overall question was, I have basic understanding of HIV and how it affects the body. We had a 52.4% increase of knowledge for those who agreed on its effects. And we had a 22.4% increase of strongly agree for our post-intervention. So overall, we believe that our community-based workshop increased the knowledge and reduced stigma, and this promoted awareness and preventative behaviors among African American college students. Some of our limitations were a small sample size, self-reported data, we had no control group, and we had no long-term follow-up. For the future, we will incorporate a control group. We'll have a larger
hand with medium skin tone with index.
I am so sorry. We'll have a more larger and diverse student population, and we'll follow up for long-term knowledge. Some more knowledge. Well, for my acknowledgments, I want to acknowledge Ms. Christina Haygood for her invaluable mentorship and her encouragement. LeMoyne Jenkins for his partnership. He did amazing. And Meharry Medical College and the HBCU Wellness Project. And I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dachia. We appreciate it. And one thing we love is that Dachia partnered with Casey McNeil from Fisk University. So one thing we love is to have partnerships that cross campuses. And that's something that they did. They worked together with the Nashville community partner. And so thank you for presenting, Dachia. I know, because you're the only student, sometimes you have to do a little bit more. So thank you for doing that. So next up, we have a 2.5-year student health ambassador who actually started with us as a high school student. She worked through the high school program, and then she finished her associate's degree and transferred to Middle Tennessee State University. So she started with us half of the year. So she's been with us for 2.5 years. Batoul Sawas, we just got back about a month ago from the Xavier University of Louisiana Health Disparities Conference, and her research won the overall undergraduate project of the year. So she's doing great work. Her research has a lot of merit and backing to it. She covered depression and anxiety. So I'm going to turn it over to Batoul Sawas so she can tell us a little bit about her findings and where she feels she wants to go for it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Haygood. Hello, everyone. This is Batoul Sawas. I'm a psychology major at Middle Tennessee State University. And I would like to go over my project with you today. So as a student health ambassador, I really value attitudes and how changing attitudes and improving them can eventually improve access to care and prevention, which is vital for a better mental well-being. So in this project, I wanted to investigate depression, which is a very significant mental health disparity. Sadly, many young adults at risk for depression or who have depression are really hesitant to seek care or prevention as a result of cultural mistrust, stigma, and lack of access to care. So I wanted to bridge this gap by administering a psychoeducational intervention and testing whether it will change participants' attitude toward prevention and treatment-seeking behaviors for depression. This will be seen if pretest and post-test were compared, and the hypothesis will be validated if post-test had a higher average percentage than the pretest. So to recruit participants, I utilized Instagram, GroupMe, email, and other age-appropriate platforms. I utilized the following flyers to educate my participants about what to expect in the session and to educate my participants about my community partner, Metro Public Health Department, and Counselor Nicole Foster, so they are more familiar and comfortable in the session. It's such a sensitive topic for many. So a pretest and a post-test were administered to assess participants' attitudes toward prevention and treatment for depression before and after the session. The intervention was in collaboration with the Metro Public Health Department, Counselor Nicole Foster, and it was a psychoeducational session conducted virtually that addressed risk factors for depression, preventive strategies, coping skills, treatment options. It included interactive elements such as a Q&A session and a Kahoot game just to make the session more engaging and fun. Resources were provided as well on affordable mental health care providers, financial resources, support groups, both on campus and off campus. So overall, the population recruited was very representative of the targeted population at risk for depression. Most of them were underrepresented: African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians from low socioeconomic status, 18 to 25, and we recruited over 60 participants for the study. So the intervention was very effective. As I mentioned before, it was a psychoeducational session. And the post-test was approximately 7% higher than the pretest when comparing averages. Up to a 25.9% positive attitudes increase, however, was seen when comparing specific questions and measures. So as you can see in here, this is a breakdown of the results. There was increases in improvement in all categories. So in prevention, in treatments, and in stigma. Some questions showed more improvement than others. So for example, seeking a counselor showed a significant increase, up to a 25.9% increase, sorry. Decreasing time spent on digital devices showed up to a 21% increase, which is a prevention measure for depression. So overall, attitudes improved following a brief psychoeducational intervention. So this shows that the hypothesis was retained. A possible limitation would be that most participants attended a historically Black university, which may reduce the study's generalizability. So in the future, exploring whether longer psychoeducational sessions are more impactful and whether they can yield similar impacts on behaviors would be very significant. So I would like to express my gratitude to Ms. Christina Haygood for her significant, valuable mentorship, Dr. McGee and the HBCU Wellness Project for their continued support always, and the MPHD for their partnership throughout this research process. And thank you, Ms. Woods, for your recommendations and design. I believe there's an activity that follows this slide. Yes. So if you can scan the QR code, it will take you to a Canva, and we're going to do this short activity. If you click on tools, you can choose a color sticky note that matches one of those attitudes on your screen. So you have blue, depression is not a sign of weakness. Green, I plan to eat more foods containing vitamin B12, a proactive factor for depression. Purple, psychotherapy is an effective treatment for depression, or talk therapy known as well. So if you can express your attitudes in one of those, strongly agree, strongly disagree, we can track them on the screen and see what we got in this quick poll.
Batoul, I see it on my screen on my phone, but I don't see it on the computer. Are you looking at your phone for the screen? Because I see quite a few of them on my phone. I just don't see them on the screen right now.
You mean the actual activity?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, if everyone is done from scanning the QR code, we can click on it so we can actually see the results on screen.
Okay. Perfect.
I think we may have to share it separately. May have gotten to a different window. Yes. Wonderful. So I see a lot of strongly agrees, and the talk therapy is an effective treatment for depression. Some strongly agrees for I plan to eat more foods containing vitamin B12. Agrees as well for green.
Looks like you may have a tie Batoul between the eat more B12 things and the psychotherapy talk.
Yes, those seem like interesting attitudes, don't they?
Hmm. Maybe give them a second more and then you can close up.
Okay, I think so far we have two strongly agrees for purple, so seeking psychotherapy as treatment. We have, wow, one, two, three, four agrees for purple. We have two agrees and four strongly agrees. Five strongly agrees for green. I believe we have a winner. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this activity. It gives you kind of an outlook on how an educated audience would answer those questions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Batoul. Now I'm just waiting for my candy, like we got in person when we filled out the sticky notes. So great job, Batoul. Thank you for sharing. Well, next up, I have two 3-year student health ambassadors. One is a junior, one is a graduating senior. A couple years ago, we got a partnership that we were reached out to by the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation and to start some research because multiple myeloma was not something that was widely known amongst the African American community. The three of us, before we started, didn't know much about multiple myeloma, and we've learned so much over the years, and it just goes to show how much research is constantly changing because the data has been changing with us for the last few years. And so next up, I have Catrice Grigsby and Sophia Thomas. They work in tandem, like I was mentioning before, like with Dachia. One is from Middle Tennessee State University, Catrice, and Sophia is at Fisk University. So they've worked in tandem over the last 3 years doing multiple myeloma research, and we've seen some awesome changes. So I will turn it over to you, ladies.
Thank you, Ms. Hagan.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Would you like to start, Catrice?
Hi, everyone. My name is Catrice Grigsby, and I'm a junior microbiology major at Middle Tennessee State University.
Hi, everybody. I am Sophia Thomas. I am a senior at Fisk University, and this is our project on unlocking the mystery of multiple myeloma. So a little bit about our project. You might be asking first, what is multiple myeloma? So, multiple myeloma is a cancer of the bone marrow that disproportionately affects African Americans two times that of our white counterparts, and men even more so. So, the most at-risk demographic for this cancer is African American men. The purpose of our study was to inform African American individuals 18 and older about the risks, the symptoms, overall existence of multiple myeloma, give out some preventative information about it as well, and share some resources for affected individuals.
Yeah, so we did this by splitting up the demographics. We had an 18 to 34 demographic, which is our college age demographic. And we had a 35 and older demographic. This demographic we split up strictly because African Americans age 35 and over are the most supposedly affected by it. So for the first listening session, it was basically just an informative listening session. We just gave the caregiving age, is what we called in the 1834 demographic, what multiple myeloma is, what ALM amyloidosis is, which is a precursor. ALM amyloidosis and multiple myeloma share a asymptomatic precursor called monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance. So that listening section was just an informative one. Then the second listening section for the 1835, the 35 and older demographic was more so a conversation. So we asked them were they aware of multiple myeloma. If they felt comfortable, they expounded. If not, that was fine. We asked some questions regarding about how they felt about healthcare providers in general. We asked them if they heard unpleasant news, would they seek a second opinion. It was more so a call and response. They were able to expound as much or as little as they wanted to.
So a little bit about our data and outcomes. Like Catrice said, we did two separate sessions, the 18 to 34 as the caregiver and the 35 and up demographic as the at risk. For our 18 to 34 session, which was predominantly done on HBCU campus at Fisk University via Zoom, there was an overall 21.35% increase in knowledge. And for the 35 and up session, which we also did via Zoom, in partnership with the First Baptist Church, I believe, which is their name, in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And that in overall knowledge increase was 40.1%. Within the 18 to 34 session, there was a 92.6% of participants that were in the targeted demographic, so African Americans between ages 18 and 34. And within the 35 and up session, 100% of our participants were in the targeted demographic.
So future directions, especially with the 35 and older demographic, we want to give more participants the chance to expound on their answers because hearing them talk about like if they were aware of multiple myeloma, why were they aware of it? If they felt comfortable to do so, because there were certain participants that wanted to be a part of the research, but they weren't able to join the Zoom meeting. So we sent out a Google Forms document for them to fill out, but they didn't have a chance to expound on their answers if they wanted to. We would like to do that in the future. We'd also like to expand our sample size. Like Sophia said earlier, African American men specifically are more disproportionately affected by multiple myeloma. We would like to get more men involved in our research if they, so that's something we want to do in the future. We also like to assess long-term retention of information, particularly with the 1834 caregiver demographic. We do the informative session. That's about maybe like an hour in between the pre and post test. We would like to see if they keep this information for long-term use. We also like to broaden the educational outreach. Kind of goes into more into like we want to expand our sample size, but also just like do things outside of the one one Zoom meeting. We also like to target the high risk groups more, like I said, African American men. And also like correlate with a healthcare provider. We would love to get a multiple myeloma nurse to come and talk to specifically the 35 and older demographic because we saw that there was some apprehension with healthcare providers with them specifically. So helping bridge that healthcare provider and patient gap is very important.
And this will be our lessons learned and acknowledgments. So, a big, big, big one that I'm so passionate about is the clinical trial apprehension that we learned about. Um, Present surprisingly within both demographics, the 18 to 34 as well as the 35 and up. There was a lot of language about quote unquote being lab rats, experimented on, things of that nature. And also a lot of misconceptions behind what a clinical trial truly is. So really just educating people on what a clinical trial is, why they are important, and why we need to participate in those as African Americans. Because if we're not being a part of the population that is being tested for these new drugs, these new therapies, these new treatments, then we don't know if they will actually be, excuse me, just as effective for us as they are for other ethnicities. It was also very difficult to find information on multiple myeloma. That is exactly why we chose the title of our study to be Unlocking the Mystery of Multiple Myeloma. There's still so much ongoing research about this cancer, things that are being unearthed daily and being discovered by different researchers. And that's why this is so important, because we do this in tandem with the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. So they give us these directions and we go with them because this is disproportionately affecting African Americans, again, 2 times that of our white counterparts. So it's so important for us to do this research. We also found that participants were very apprehensive to share. We need to be more vocal in our communities about sharing health information amongst each other because knowledge is power. So the more that we know and we can talk to others in our community and we have similarities, we can also start to have more autonomy over our health. Knowing what this person does better and what this person might lack and helping each other out in those areas so that we can do better with those preventative health behaviors. And it was also very hard getting that 35 demographic population for our study. That's why we are so thankful to the First Baptist Church of Murfreesboro. Without them, we would not have had that demographic this year. So we are so, so thankful for that. Like Catrice said, we would love to have even more African American men, since they are the most at-risk population for multiple myeloma. I'm gonna let Catrice say her acknowledgements as well. I want to just go ahead and start though. Thank you so much to Ms. Haygood. This is my 3rd year as an SHA, so I'm very sad to put this research to bed, so to say. I know Catrice will do amazing in the future with this over the next year. Thank you to the MMRF and Dr. Olabanjo, who is our contact with them. Of course, to the HBC Wellness Project at MMC, without whom none of this would be possible. And again, a shout out to the church, the First Baptist Church of Murfreesboro. Catrice.
Yes, Mrs. Haygood, thank you so much for everything. You've been with us literally since the beginning, so thank you so much.
No,
Dr.
truly.
Olabanjo, yes, literally. Dr. Olabanjo and the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, thank you guys for even reaching out to the HBCU Wellness Project or to have this project with us. Meharry Medical College and the HBCU Wellness Project, thank you, because without you guys, we could not have this platform at all. The First Baptist Church of Murfreesboro, and particularly Pastor McHale, thank you so much for allowing us to go into your church essentially and have that demographic.
Well, that was our study, y'all. Thank y'all so much, and we hope y'all learned something and took something away from this.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, ladies. And I have to say, I am sad to see you go, Sophia, because we've been a trio for these last 3 years. So I don't know, what we're going to do moving forward, but thank you for all that you've done and all your work with multiple myeloma. Catrice and Sophia have to do slightly more than everyone else sometimes because of the special partnership that we have. So thank you, ladies, for always being ready, available to present and share the information and continually doing research because there's always something changing with multiple myeloma. So again, thank you, ladies. Great presentation. And then for my final student, Miss Alaina Carter is a 2nd-year student health ambassador with Fisk University. She has done diabetes research for the past 2 years in tandem with the Tennessee Department of Health, and they've given amazing presentations, and she's had quite a few participants each year. But for now, she's going to tell you about this year and her project and how that's worked and anything that she's learned. So Alaina, I will turn it over to you.
Hey, thank you. Can you hear me well?
We can.
Okay. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Alaina Carter and I am a senior at Fisk University. And today I'll be presenting my project on diabetes awareness among Nashville, Tennessee area HBCU undergraduate students. So, what exactly is diabetes? And to give some background on that, diabetes is this chronic condition that affects how the body regulates blood glucose due to either impaired insulin production or insulin use. And if diabetes is unmanaged, it can lead to more serious complications such as cardiovascular disease, kidney damage, nerve damage. And even with these risks, a lot of people, but especially young adults, aren't fully aware of the early warning signs and how to even prevent diabetes. And that actually motivated me to do this project. So, based on the gap in awareness, my research question was, does a brief educational session improve diabetes awareness among college students aged 18 to 25? And for my hypothesis, it was that participants would demonstrate significantly higher diabetes knowledge across multiple domains following a health education intervention. For my methods. So the first method was recruitment. I created a flyer that you see here to the left for the event and shared it by word of mouth and across social media platforms such as GroupMe and Instagram to pretty much reach students and to encourage them to come and join the session. And then next was the design. The design was a pre-test, the education or the session, and then the post-test after to assess if there were any changes in diabetes knowledge. The next was intervention, and the intervention consisted of a health professional-led educational session. And lastly was the assessment. The pre-test and post-test survey scores were compared to evaluate if there were any changes in diabetes knowledge. So to give an overview of the session, the intervention was a 90-minute interactive Zoom session. It was led by Miss Lisa Kosak, who was my community health partner, and she's a program director at the Tennessee Department of Health, and she is an expert on diabetes education. And she delivered evidence-based diabetes education, and she discussed different topics that included diabetes types, the risk factors, symptoms, lifestyle behaviors, and prevention. And lastly, the session emphasized increasing awareness and reducing long-term diabetes risk. So here are my results. As shown here in these bar graphs, diabetes knowledge did increase across all assessed domains following the intervention, but the largest improvements were seen in knowing pre-diabetes screening tools, understanding the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and recognizing diabetes warning signs. And these results pretty much prove the hypothesis that even a single educational session can produce meaningful gains in diabetes knowledge among the participants. For my conclusion. So in conclusion, the brief educational session did significantly increase diabetes knowledge among the participants who came. And then for my limitations, one of the limitations was that the knowledge was assessed immediately after the session. So we couldn't really evaluate if there was any long-term knowledge retention. For the second limitation, it was that there were incomplete pre-test and post-test survey responses. Not all the participants did them. So this reduced the overall sample size and kind of limited the ability to see the trends across all the participants. And then for the last limitation, the intervention was limited to a single session, which may not be sufficient to support if there were any long-term behavior changes. And then for future directions, I would like for this topic to continue to be discussed and expanded upon, not even just at Fisk, but across all the campuses, because diabetes education is especially important for the next generation of young students to learn early. And then personally, I would like to continue doing research because I find it very important in the career path that I'm pursuing, which is dentistry. And I hope to work with public health professionals to build partnerships that promote diabetes awareness and education within communities, because I think a lot of people, even including me, before doing this project, I didn't really see if the connection between oral health and diabetes, but there is, like for example, those who are diabetic are more at risk of getting gum disease. So that is why I would like to continue spreading that education in my career. And lastly, I would like to thank Miss Christina Haygood, who is our program coordinator for Fisk, and then Miss Lisa Kosak, the Tennessee Department of Health, and the HBCU Wellness Project at Meharry Medical College for all your guidance and support. And thank you so much for listening.
Amazing job, Alaina. Thank you for that information. Your project has been great because you've had great numbers for yours. So even to see where the pre-test and the post-test and how big your jumps were, love, love, love to see it. And so thank you for that. Alaina is also one of our graduating seniors, but we'll talk about that later. So we're done with the Middle Tennessee area, and we're going to take it on to West Tennessee. So next up, we're going to the LeMoyne Owen College. Dr. Willie Williams, I'm turning it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Williams. I'm the chair of the National Mathematical Sciences Division here at LeMoyne Owen. I'm also one of the project directors here for the HBCU, Harry HBCU Wellness Project. So, good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to bring to you all two outstanding young ladies, two outstanding student health ambassadors at LeMoyne Owen College. They're also exceptional students. We have Miss Charmere Suggs, who is a returning student to the program. She distinguishes herself through her research, both intellectually and enthusiastically for uh, the impact that she brings to the program. You'll first hear from Miss Phazsa Harris. Miss Harris is new to the program. This is her first year, but you couldn't tell because she's really dedicated, works really hard, and really wants to see an impact of the research that she's doing. So I will turn it over to Miss Phazsa Harris, followed by Miss Suggs.
Hello, everyone. Hi, so yes, I did my research study on enhancing chronic kidney disease awareness through risk perception in Memphis, Tennessee. My name is also, again, Phazsa Harris, and I'm a junior at LeMoyne Owen College. So my reasoning and hypothesis, why do I want to enhance chronic kidney disease awareness in Memphis, Tennessee? Individuals living in Memphis, Tennessee have a higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease due to socioeconomic and historical inequities, like food deserts and really inaccess to healthy food, which is the same thing in like impoverished or low income areas. With chronic kidney disease and end-stage renal disease disproportionately affecting the residents of Memphis compared to other areas in the state, it's necessary that the risk factors are addressed here. And my hypothesis was that undergraduate students and community members who participate in the educational intervention session will demonstrate improved knowledge and understanding of chronic kidney disease severity to enhance awareness. Methods and procedures. So the main method that I used to get the word out about the educational intervention was I used flyers, and I promoted basically like having food available and refreshments and some incentives for the participants. And we also conducted a risk communication workshop, which was during the educational intervention. We used pre and post survey for the participants to gauge their knowledge beforehand of chronic kidney disease, and post survey for afterward, to see how to gauge the knowledge that they gained from the intervention. And just to delve into the community intervention a little bit more, here I have some pictures of like prizes and gifts that were available, because I used a interactive game like Jeopardy that I had created online to increase memorization for the participants, just to get them really like get their mind really going, and their memorization, because I really wanted this to stick for them to remember And I have refreshments for them once again. And for the results for the study, enhancing chronic kidney disease awareness pre and post, the awareness of risk factors, which these numbers are from combined questions on each survey of the risk factors and the genetic risk, which I really wanted to highlight during this study, increased from 61.5% to 83.3% pre and post. And then for the genetic risk understanding, really like the APOL1 gene, which is a non-modifiable factor, it was very low at 7.7%, and then it increased to 38.9%. And also to touch on some of the recent advances in chronic kidney disease, we have clinical trials for pig to human kidney transplantation, which is also known as xenotransplantation. And this is according to the National Kidney Foundation, just to try to combat some of the unavailability that comes with needing organs. Sometimes it's very hard to find a match or people that are willing to donate. And then the FDA also approved Ozempic for type 2 diabetes and chronic kidney disease. And some of the limitations are that we are still in the trial phase for xenotransplantation. So it's not really fully a thing yet, but we are hoping that, we are able to grow those organs through a pig. And for the future directions, I have plans to scale up the educational intervention through community outreach. Basically just getting the word out more about non-modifiable and modifiable risk factors for chronic kidney disease, and partnering with GlomCon because I was able to network with some people to bring testing and screening to Memphis and Shelby County community for chronic kidney disease, to basically get the students or the community members to see if they have a higher susceptibility to it, to chronic kidney disease. The goal is to bring more awareness to the Memphis community about a higher susceptibility, which is a higher chance of getting chronic kidney disease because of genetic and lifestyle factors. I want to acknowledge the Shelby County Health Department, Meharry Medical College, the HBCU Wellness Project, Dr. Washington, Dr. Williams, Ms. Small. They have all been very helpful on this project, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Ms. Suggs?
Good evening. My name is Charmere Suggs. My name is Charmere Suggs. I am a first semester senior here at the LeMoyne Owen College, currently serving as the 85th Student Government Association President, majoring in biology on the nursing track. And today my presentation is on Memphis fight against cardiac death through CPR. A little background would be the leading cause of death in Memphis and Shelby County is cardiovascular disease. CPR is an emergency life-saving technique used during cardiac arrest to maintain blood flow and oxygen to vital organs. My research question was, does a hands-on instructor lead CPR training reduce the bystander effect and increase the probability that participants will intervene during a cardiac arrest? The hypothesis concluded after completing the CPR training, participants will show an increase in CPR knowledge and a higher likelihood of initiating CPR during cardiac arrest compared to before training. My methods. I recruited via flyers posted around the LeMoyne Owen College campus and via social media on Instagram. All participants were asked to do a pre-survey to test the knowledge before the hands-on CPR training. Next, we did CPR training hands-on learning with dummies and via videos. After we did all of that, a post survey was given along to test the knowledge and demonstrations to the instructor. After everything was done, I collected all of my data for the pre and post surveys. What stood out to me the most in my results was what is the correct rate of chest compressions during CPR? As you can see in my pre, 60 minutes, 60 beats a minute, 80 beats a minute, or 120, 100 to 120. In the post, everyone gained the knowledge and learned that it is 100 to 120. What also stood out to me the most was how likely are you to provide CPR to a stranger in an emergency? In the pre, my data was everywhere. In the post, my very unlikely and unlikely completely went away. Intervention overview. CPR consists of introduction and theory of emergency hands-on CPR training. We practice on a dummy, learn the proper hand placement, perform the chest compressions, practice the rescue breaths. AED training was also provided by turning on the device, learning how to properly attach the pads, deliver the shock, and rescue. After all of that, the skills and certificates, you had to demonstrate to the instructor in order to pass, take a test, and receive your certification for up to 2 years. In conclusion, participants demonstrated an increased confidence in CPR and reduced barriers associated with performing CPR. Participants felt more likely confident in performing bystander CPR, which is what the goal we were looking for. With all research methods, there are always going to be limitations. My limitations were the lack of a control group and short-term measures. My future plans is to increase my sample size, add a control group, and follow up with participants in at least 1 year. My acknowledgments and references. I would like to thank Dr. Washington, Ms. Kokiti Allen, which is the instructor and founder of Helping Hands CPR, LLC students, Dr. Willie Williams, Ms. Tamisha Smalls, and the Shelby County Health Department.
Thank you, Ms. Suggs. Great job.
So now with this first section done, we want to take the opportunity to allow for any questions that anyone may have about any of the presentations. You can address any of the presenters directly, or you can just pose it to the entire group. So we'll turn it over to allow for any questions at this time. And you can unmute or you can put it in the chat. And while we're waiting for others, I do have a question, and any of you all can jump in. How did the experience working with your project contribute to your growth as a student health ambassador or a future professional, since so many of you are seniors?
Dr. Haygood, I can answer this question. First, I want to thank you and the HBCU Wellness Program for this opportunity. I'm Daviana Lanier, a psychology and sociology double major at Fisk University. One way that the HBCU Wellness Program has prepared me for my career has been just networking, learning how to put myself out there, learning how to any connection that's made is a good connection. Even if it's not something that's directly beneficial to you, you could probably pass off that same information to the person beside you. Also as well, being able to get those references, being able to get those accolades, being able to put it on my resume. It just built character. It built me as a senior. It built me as a person, just being able to get outside of my comfort zone. Me specifically, I did my project on mental health and mental wellness and just learning the difference between the two. Mental health being the state that you're in, mental wellness being the way that you take care of yourself. So just going deeper into these educational seminars and educational purposes, it's grown me as an individual.
I
Thank you,
think,
Daviana. That was amazing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Whoever's
no,
up.
you're
That was a
okay.
great answer. Go ahead. Whoever
That
was
was a
next.
really
Go
good
ahead.
answer. I
You're
love that,
welcome.
Daviana.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add on, I'm Sophia Thomas again, a senior biochemistry and molecular biology major from Fisk University. I think the most important thing I've taken away from this project is how important public health is as a whole. Unfortunately, disparities exist in every specialty. They in dentistry, in optometry, in ENT, in primary care, everything. Unfortunately, these social drivers of health are present in all communities. And so it's just so important that I feel like all physicians, no matter what your specialty is, that you have some kind of background in public health and understanding of how these different drivers change people's perceptions and overall health outcomes.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank
Sophia.
you.
Did somebody, Batoul, you want to go? I think
Yes.
I heard Batoul. Okay, go ahead.
For me personally, I think like just learning about how significant depression is. Again, I'm Batoul Sawas. Just learning about how significant depression is as a mental health disparity, and that so many participants had no idea the differences between mental health professionals and what works best for them, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselor, etc. Made me just more aware and wanting to learn more how to support participants in the future as a clinical psychologist to learn how to best seek care by navigating and spreading awareness about different mental health professionals.
Thank you for that. And we have a question in the chat from Aria. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Somebody else was
I'm
going.
sorry.
No, no,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to
Go ahead.
answer that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so to the lady who asked the question about like outreach and how we got partners and participants. We really, well, for me particularly, I used word of mouth, a lot of flyers, and I also I use like incentives, like there's gonna be food, a lot of people on campus. I try to get family members, really as many people as possible. Last minute, because I had to reschedule mine, it's not as many people showed up as I wanted them to, but enough people showed up because I was like, anybody literally like in this South Memphis community, if I can get y'all to listen to this and spread the word. So really that's really the main thing. Just try to like market it, I guess. I don't know if it would be considered marketing, but send emails, mass text messages, whatever you can do to get participants.
And Dr. Haygood, I just want to build on what Miss Phazsa
Yes, Phazsa.
said. Aria, I know you're interested in becoming a student health ambassador. In order to find a really good research participant, kind of what my counterparts or even just what you've seen online is done, go out, put yourself out there. So step out, go to that Department of Health or go to that direct person that you may know that's in psychology or in sociology or in biology, whatever the field is. Aim high, and they'll, even if they're not able to, they may be able to refer you to somebody else. And one thing that a lot of our student health ambassadors do, if somebody has done a research project that you're interested in, you can always go to that person and ask them, hey, who's your community partner? And they can appoint you to someone. So definitely, like she said, emails, putting yourself out there, but aim high. And you might be so kind to get someone like a part of the Shelby County Health Department like Miss Harris did.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with aiming high. For my first year, I actually aimed high as the director of the MTSU Counseling Center, but she wasn't available, so she actually referred me to someone else. But always aim high. You never know, because the counselor that she referred me to was very good, and she knew that she would be representative of the population. For my second project, I did the Metro Public Health Department. I met them through the HBCU Wellness Project at the Summer Institute. So that's why the Summer Institute is key. It's very important. That's where you make all your connections. So it's definitely very significant. For participants, I think age-appropriate platforms are key. Find where all your peers would actually see a study and maybe participate. Like for me in my university, we use GroupMe for everything. So that was like a very huge thing for me to do. I emailed the honors college, any programs I was in at school, and they reach out to all the honor students. They reach out also to psychology students. So they usually have like a mailing list in each department. So I would definitely ask about that. And they were actually more than happy to help. So you never know.
Thank
Thank y'all
you.
so much.
You're welcome. And Talasia, and hi, how are you? Talasia has a question for you all. How do you all plan to continue your research with your specific health disparity once you've graduated from the program?
This is so interesting because me and Miss Hager were just talking about this in the conference. So I actually know that we were talking about this. There was a school, so I'm gonna be attending University of Southern Mississippi Clinical Psychology PhD program. And if you look at Mississippi numbers and mental health and physical health, they are very similar to Tennessee, and in some cases even worse. And so we actually found like there's a little school for underserved communities that was done based on a grant. And I'm thinking of hopefully reaching out to that school and collaborating with them to see if the parents would be interested in such interventions.
Did anybody else want to answer that question from Talasia?
Talasia, I can answer your question. Go ahead, Catrice, if you wanted to go.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. So I want to do either cancer or endometriosis research after I graduate. So I want that to be like lab-based research, but I feel like a lot of people in labs in general can forget that there are people behind the samples that they have, or people behind the data that they are seeing. And so this experiment, even if I don't end up doing multiple myeloma or cancer research, I just this experience has just told me to never forget the people behind. Because it's easy to say like, oh, yeah, of course there's a person behind this blood sample that I have, but like, do you really know what that means? Like, do you know the weight of what that like is? So I think this experience in general, just like, I'll just take away the fact that like there are people behind this. There's a person with a whole entire life behind whatever I have in my hand at the lab at any given point in time. So yeah.
Thank you, Catrice. Daviana, did you want to add?
I was just going to say, me doing my research project directly on mental health and mental wellness, I want to become a forensic psychiatrist, so I'll just use it in my career field. But even if I didn't go through with becoming a forensic psychiatrist, just passing on the information, mental health and mental wellness is very big right now in our society. So even if it's someone that's doing a project on it, a high schooler that may be doing a project on it, you never know. But kind of like Batoul was in high school and she ended up coming in this project. So you never know who may need the information just to pass on. But yeah, I'll be using it for my career.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, Joyner, I will turn it back over to you unless someone else has. Oh, I see Sophia. She's trying to navigate. Yes, because multiple myeloma has become a passion. It has become a passion for the three of us because we've done so much with it, and it's continually changing and updating. Like literally, it's changed multiple times in the last 3 years that we've been working on it. So trying to stay in that research and figuring out ways to do that is going to be interesting. So hopefully we can figure out some ways together, Sophia. So Joyner, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, moving into our next set of student presentations, we will bring Ms. Stephanie Phillips from Lane College to introduce our next students.
Hello, I do not believe my students were able to get on. I don't see them. It's a lot of students on here, so if you all see them, let me know. Or if you're here, let me know you're here. But I am Stephanie Phillips. I'm the Director of Counseling and Student Support Services at Lane College, and I also serve as the campus coordinator for the HBCU Wellness Project at Lane College. And my students are, I have Morgan Russell, who is a first-year student, sophomore, and I also have Erica Reynolds. So I have Morgan Russell and Erica Reynolds. Both of them did a tremendous job with their research. Morgan is a sophomore. This is her first year. She's a biology major, and she has developed a strong interest in understanding human anatomy and advocating for health services. As for Erica, Erica Reynolds is a senior sociology major, and she's developed a strong interest in understanding social systems and advocating for individuals in underrepresented communities. Throughout her academic journey, she's built a foundation in social awareness, critical thinking, and a passion for helping others. With her being a senior, her endeavors after she graduates is to obtain her master's degree in social work, and she wants to extend this across the state of Georgia as well as Tennessee. And she wants to be able to make a meaningful impact with families as far as community resources and positive social change, as are all of you. One of them did her presentation was on infant mortality, and the other one's presentation was on the impact of diabetes and the susceptibleness of it being hereditary, and what things could shift the dynamic for individuals who are impacted by diabetes and also infant mortality.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. I know that we did get a notification that there was some connectivity issues on campus, so I do appreciate you giving us a little bit of insight on their projects. As mentioned by Director McGee, we will be showcasing all of the student presentations on our website in the coming weeks, so we will be able to take a look at those students' presentations. At this time, we are going to move on to Tennessee State University with Dr. Calverta McMorris.
Hello, everyone. I'm Calverta McMorris, and I am the coordinator for Tennessee State University. Our first presenter is Ms. Jocelyn Joyner. She is a chemistry major at Tennessee State University, and she has been with the Meharry HBCU Wellness Project for the past 3 years. Janasica is a chemistry major, and she desires to become a dermatologist. And she has been working on dermatology since her high school when she started developing skincare products. And so I present Miss Jocelyn Janasica Joyner, the granddaughter.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janasica Joyner. I am a senior chemistry major at Tennessee State University, and my project's title is Pink Ribbons, Breast Cancer Education and Awareness. So breast cancer is very well known around the world as a health disparity. And over the years, the mortality rate has been constantly growing. I've also noticed that in college students, there is a lack of awareness and knowledge regarding breast cancer. And for this research, my research question is, how does an educational intervention on breast cancer prevention and early detection affect college students' knowledge, attitudes, and awareness of breast cancer? So for my methods regarding this project, I recruited participants from multiple forms of communication, including flyers, as you see on the left, social media posts, and also by word of mouth. Participants also had to sign an informed consent form before participating in this research project. They also had to complete a pre and post test. And there was also a focus group that was hosted, but that was optional for the participants as well to collect more data. So to go over the intervention, first the pre-test was given to the participants. That was followed by information given to the participants regarding awareness and education surrounding breast cancer. After they received the information, they were given a post-test to collect data regarding the knowledge and awareness that they gained for breast cancer. And for the focus group, that consisted of multiple questions surrounding personal ideas, factors, and challenges that do surround breast cancer to gain more information on how we can reduce that stigma, improve the support from our peers, and keep the community engaged. For our results, as you see on the right, you will see figure 1 and figure 2, the pre-test and the post-test. So after the participants complete this workshop, I found that 87% of participants are now willing to perform these monthly breath sex exams. Some of the main barriers that did prevent these participants from performing these or just seeking medical care in general are just forgetting, not having much knowledge surrounding breast cancer, as well as having the fear that they will find something abnormal. And after participating in the workshop, something that did stand out from the participants was basically learning how to perform these monthly breast self exams and just increasing their knowledge, which led to them being more confident about breast cancer prevention. And participants did state that they do plan to apply these mental health strategies to reduce the stress and support self-care and perform monthly breast self-exams, as well as schedule regular clinical breast exams or mammograms. So to conclude, this study did provide a lot of insight regarding the knowledge college students have about breast cancer. It is very important that we continue to spread this knowledge and awareness to help lower the mortality rate in the state of Tennessee for people of all ages. And although the study was great with improving the knowledge and awareness of breast cancer, over 80% of the participants were women. So I think that is very important that we push it out towards men as well, so we can constantly continue closing that gap. And all of the pre-test, the post-test, and focus group came together to help gain more information regarding how college students perceive breast cancer, risk practices, as well as understanding the barriers that they should overcome in order to seek care. This study also increased the confidence, motivation, and intention to engage in preventive behaviors regarding breast cancer. And in the future, I do plan to increase the number of participants as well as men participants in general, and just going inside the community to spread awareness and education about breast cancer to continue to lower that mortality rate. So I would like to acknowledge the Tennessee Meharry Medical College HBCU Wellness Project, as well as Miss Denise Peeler, my research, she's a research nurse, but she's also my community partner, as well as Dr. Mick Morris. Thank you.
Great job, Janasica. Thank you so much for all of your work and for the 3 years you worked for the program. Our next presenter is Miss Payton Wright. Payton is a biology major with a chemistry minor. She plans to pursue a master's degree in public health after graduation and to become a pediatrician. She has worked well with the infant mortality and also preconceptual health, and she plans to work with families in underserved communities. Thank you, Payton.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Oh, I can't see the PowerPoint. Oh, there we go. My name is Payton Wright. I attend Tennessee State University. I am a graduating senior, and the name of my project is Addressing Infant Mortality for a Brighter Future. So my research question was, how do adults ages 18 to 34 in Shelby County and Davidson County, Tennessee, perceive the role of preconception health in preventing infant mortality? The hypothesis of this was, I did this same research the year prior. I focused on improper sleep and health equity that year, and I noticed that my numbers, as well as like just kind of the responses that the participants the year prior was giving, that they didn't know what preconception health was. And I kind of thought to myself, you can't teach someone about certain ways to prevent when they don't even know about the beginning. So this year I decided to take it all the way to the beginning with preconception health being before the mother is even pregnant. So here is some examples of how I promoted them online. I did Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and it was supposed to be a video, but unfortunately it didn't play because it was PDF version. But if you give me 2 seconds, I can put it in the chat for everyone who would like to watch it. I just sent it and it's loading. But the way that I went about collecting, I partnered with trusted churches in Shelby County, which is in Memphis, where I am from, and in Davidson County, which is in Nashville, where my school is located. I also did a pre and post survey to collect my data. This was out of a sample of 50 participants. So for each event I wanted the main goal to be 50 people there. I also was able to partner with trusted community partners within these communities, so I can also get more participants to come out to my event due to the fact that mine was online. Mine was in person, not online. We go to the next slide. So here is just the overview of my project. I did both of my events in person because this year, with it being my last year, I wanted this event to be bigger and be able to give back more into the community. So I partner with a lot of organizations within both communities to teach mothers that there are ways for you to get help. Like when you first leave the hospital, you have these particular organizations that can come in and check on you or bring you things, or you have this particular organization that can bring you diapers and different things like that. Because I felt like with preconception health, it's not really something that you can test for due to when I was looking up, it's not a lot of data on it, but it's just educating people about their risky behaviors, about managing chronic health conditions, about exercising regularly and eating healthy before you become pregnant. So therefore, we can prevent the numbers of infant mortality in these communities rising, so we always want them to decrease. So with preconception health, it was a really big informational session on just healthy living and to know what healthy living does for your body before you become pregnant. And this was for women and men because I feel like men didn't understand that preconception health also plays a role with you too. I think all men just thought it was just the women, but I wanted to stress that it was both partners. We go to the next slide. So here are some of my results. 1 second. Sorry. So the first question being, which of the following are considered important compounds of preconception health? This side is for the Memphis, so I did pre and post. The pre-test is the light orange and the post-test is the dark orange. So sorry, I know the words are kind of small on this. I didn't realize how small they would look when I was doing the slides. So again, I'm so sorry for that. But the first one is taking prenatal vitamins. The second one is regular exercise and healthy diet. The third one is managing chronic health conditions, none of the above, and then avoiding harmful or abusive substances. So for when we look at the pre-test for this one, the one that won was regular physical activity and healthy diet. It also won at the post-test as well. So we didn't see a lot of change in what people thought was the right answer in that particular aspect, which is good. The second question is, what makes it difficult for you to practice these behaviors? Because I wanted to see what people thought was like, okay, what is a healthy behavior? Now, what makes you not practice these healthy behaviors? Because I feel like everyone always teach this is a healthy behavior, but no one thinks about what makes you not practice these healthy behaviors. So then again, the light orange is the pre and the dark orange is the dark on the post test is a dark orange. So with the pre, lack of knowledge and information won, but then when we got to the post test, it was cost for healthcare and vitamins that did in the post test. So with showing this, I feel like our Memphis participants, they learned, not going to say they learned more than the Nashville participants, but I did see like the increase in knowledge that they took in. So when I moved to the Nashville one, it's the same two questions. On the first one, physical health and exercise also won for that one, being what do you think is an important compound for preconception health? The pre-test is the dark green and the post-test is the light green. So the pre-test for that, it was healthy, regular exercise and healthy diets. And then for the post-test, it was also regular exercise and healthy diets. So pretty much everyone kind of picked like just the overall healthy living. But one thing that I noticed was different here is when I went down to what hinders you from what hinders you from practicing these healthy behaviors, the people in Nashville in pre and post, they both put time constraints. So I feel like that's something everyone, like even myself, I am like, oh my gosh, I'm too busy to go to the gym today, or I'm too busy to eat healthy. So let me just go to Zaxby's really fast. So with being in Nashville, I really wanted to like see what it was. And I feel like Nashville is it's such a busy city, and it's a little bit more busier than Memphis is. So the time constraints was something I was looking to actually see from this city. We can go to the next slide. Oh, so these are some of my references. We could bypass those. These are my acknowledgments. So I would like to thank Dr. McMorris. I would like to thank Dr. McGee, HBCU Wellness Project, Metro Health Department. A lot of these organizations that I am going to name are organizations that came out to my event and set up tables as well as borrowed diapers, car seats, and anything like these. But Planned Parenthood, Nashville Strong Babies, Tennessee Justice, Tennessee Voices, Nashville Diapers Connect, and then Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. I do just want to give y'all a quick brief on what they are. So if y'all do know any expecting mothers, they know that these resources are there. Nashville Strong Babies are really good with car seats. They are very big on that and protecting. I was able to give away, I want to say, 3 car seats to 3 different families just from Nashville Strong Babies. Tennessee Justice and Tennessee Voices, they kind of work and make sure that you're heard and make sure that you're not taken advantage of, but they also offer like in-home services as well. Nashville Diaper Connection, they are diapers, pull-ups, any type diapers from newborn to all the way to 4T. You can go there and you can get pre-wrapped diapers. They come in stacks of 25, and we know diapers are expensive. So they helped me a lot. I was able to give away so many diapers. I want to say I gave each family 2 boxes. So they were a big help with this. And then Vanderbilt, they had brought a cervical cancer because, like I said, preconception health is before pregnancy even occurs. So they gave away a lot of things about cervical cancer. So thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you, Payton. Thank you so much. You did a wonderful job, an excellent job.
Okay, at this time, we are going to pass the mic to Ms. Ellis at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Just one moment real quickly, Jonay, and before Rachel takes the mic. Dr. Outlaw is with us, and I don't know if she will be able to stay the whole time, but Payton, she does have some information that she wants to share with you. So don't let us forget, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hello everybody. Last but not least, UTC has 2 SHAs that I'll be introducing to you, but first, my name is Rachel Ellis. I'm the coordinator of undergraduate affairs at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. I'll be introducing Miss Anna and Miss Kara. They are both first-time SHAs, but hopefully it's not their last time. So on as a junior at UTC, again, first time serving as a student health ambassador. In this role and within her research, she partnered with Momentum, which is a local nonprofit organization right down the street from UTC, which collaborates closely with supporting single mothers pursuing higher education. So with that, I'll turn it over to you and you can tell us more about your project and what you discovered.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. Yeah, like Miss Ellis was saying, I'm a junior at UTC and I'm an education major. And I did my project on extrinsic stressors and their impact on single university mothers' decision making around food choices for their children. So I know Miss Ellis was just telling us a little bit about Momentum. I decided to do this project largely because I've volunteered with the organization before and multiple times, and I've seen how much they do for the mothers there and for their children. And also just how hardworking and amazing the moms are. They're handling so much more than I am as a typical college student. They have work, they're taking care of their children, they're obviously doing school too. So I wanted to see how we can better support them in our community here at UCC. So like I was saying, so my research question is, to what extent do these extrinsic stressors, like academic and work commitments, impact the feeding habits for the children of these single mothers enrolled in universities? And my hypothesis, based off some of the previous research I had done, was that these moms that had higher time commitments with work and school would have less scheduled meal and snack times and just report overall like insufficient time to provide those nutritional options for their children. So how I went about this, as you can see there on the right, that's my flyer that I posted around campus in places like the University Center and the library, just so that anyone who was walking by could see it and scan that QR code. I also had this, I sent it to the coordinator of Momentum so she could send it to the moms. So that was honestly the main way I got my participants. That was a big help with her sending that out. And then this also went out just through like the email list on campus to anyone that wanted to fill it out if they matched those criteria. So like I have here, the participants I was looking for were single moms who were 18 and up that were enrolled in either undergraduate, graduate, or doctoral programs. And yeah, once they scanned this QR code, it led them to a survey. And upon starting that survey, there was an informed consent. And there was also no incentive offered with this survey. So this is a little bit about my methodology. Like I said, that QR code led them to that survey. This survey was 15 questions. It had things like demographic information, so like race, ethnicity, background, the hours they were enrolled in, what their major was, how many hours they were working, age of their children, how many children they had, things like that. And then it also had some Likert scale questions on there. So that's like rating themselves on a scale of 1 to 5 based on questions such as like time is a restraint on how I feed my children, things like that. And then at the end of the survey, they could opt in for that interview. This interview was semi-structured. So I had 10 questions that I had typed up that were all open-ended. So open-ended means they're not like yes or no questions. And basically, with the semi-structured nature, this meant that I could ask additional questions if I wanted a mom to like elaborate on a specific point. So that just allowed me to get a more comprehensive discussion in my interview. The topics in this interview regarded things like meal patterns, food choices, the daily life of the moms, what resources they used, and then like where they would get support from. So these are my results. I had quantitative and qualitative. So that quantitative was largely from that survey with those Likert scale questions that I mentioned. So we have some statements like I adhere to a meal schedule for my child. My child eats snacks more consistently than meals. If money or time is a constraint on the food options, and whether their child had access to nutritious and homemade meals. And so I have some different categories here based on what the mom fell into. So we have like full-time student, full-time worker, if they were both, or there's even down there at the bottom, if they're a full-time student and working 20 to 30 hours because while that's still part-time, that's still a pretty hefty workload. And then on that right side, I have my qualitative results. So once I did those interviews, I coded them and looked for emerging themes, and I found five. Those two on the left are more kind of general, not necessarily related to nutrition, although they impact it. So we see external support. A lot of these moms mentioned momentum since a lot of them had that support. That was where a lot of them got their support. School accommodation. So a lot of my moms were saying that a lot of the programs, especially nursing, that was brought up a lot, aren't very accommodating towards moms. However, they had very accommodating professors. So it was kind of like on a large scale, schools aren't very accommodating, but when they reach out to specific professors, they might have been. Then we see on the right those more food specific ones. So like time management, this has had a lot to do with like meal prepping, making sure they cooked on the weekends, froze stuff ahead of time. We had general nutrition knowledge, so knowing what was better for their children, how their child acted based on what they ate. Even one mom was talking about she could tell, like, oh, if I feed my kid these chips with this dye, he's gonna go crazy, that kind of thing. Child over self. I had one mom tell me, she was like, what you're gonna find isn't that the children are suffering. If anything, it would be the moms who are lacking because of that natural instinct for mothers to just take care of their children. So overall, while those quantitative results with a relatively low population size, they weren't statistically significant, my qualitative data allowed me to look into all of that information further and just understand why moms were rating themselves these ways. So even just things like you might have two moms who are working the same amount of hours, but one is working night shift, one's working day shift. That's going to impact how she's feeding her child, obviously. My overall conclusion was just the need for support. Again, like I said, a lot of these moms had that support through momentum. They mentioned that a lot, but they were also able to reflect on before they were in the program, and how that impacted their food choices before they were in the program versus now when they have that extra level of support. Also through talking with the coordinator of Momentum, there are resources out there, but a lot of these moms might not know about them. So just spreading the knowledge of these resources to single moms in the university so that they know what is available to them. Some limitations. First of all, this was a relatively small population just because it was very specific. Finding single moms on campus can be a little hard. This is why most of them were from Momentum because that's where I knew that there was a bigger pool of them. But because of this, that does definitely skew results because they have the support that maybe other single moms might not have. In addition, this was largely people from my school. So in the future, I would love to get some data from other schools. I got one mom from UTK. That was great. But yeah, most of them were here, UTC, a few Chat State. And then in addition, I would love to see more moms from graduate and doctoral programs. I also had one in a doctoral program. But again, most of them were undergraduate because that's simply the pool that I had more access to. So I'd love to get a more comprehensive view of other perspectives. And yeah, I would like to thank Dr. Linda Frost and Miss Rachel Ellis for helping me with this. Obviously, also the HBCU Wellness Project for giving me this opportunity. And then Momentum because the moms were willing to take time out of their day to talk with me, even though they're already really busy. And also the coordinators were also willing to work with me. And that was just amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Great job. Last but not least from UTC is Kara, who is a sophomore at UTC and also, again, first year SHA. She partnered with UTC's Center for Wellbeing, who is a campus resource dedicated to supporting students, fostering their well-being, obviously, and their mental health, but mainly raising awareness both on campus and within the broader community, such as a very wide range of topics, but it could range from mental health to relationship violence and stalking, to substance use and abuse. But with that, I will turn it over to Kara, and the floor is yours to let us know about your project and what you learned.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kara. As Rachel said, I'm a biology major.
And I chose to focus my project on college-age student knowledge of fentanyl risk and naloxone availability, specifically on college campuses. Okay, to start, my research question was, what are college-age students' knowledge on the risk associated with fentanyl, as well as naloxone availability on campus? So my question did kind of stem from my own lack of knowledge because like I was aware of the risk of fentanyl, but I was not aware until, I started conducting research that naloxone could actually be found on my campus. So it caused me to pose like what amount of students also weren't knowledgeable on this. So from my question, I derived the hypothesis that college-age students are more susceptible to fentanyl when not properly educated on its risk and where naloxone is available. So my methods of conducting research, I sent out a survey via a flyer that I posted in various locations on campus, as well as Rachel said, I was partnered with the UTC Center for Wellbeing, specifically their MOX recovery unit that focuses on helping students combat, substance use, whether it's drug related or alcohol related. They really focus on an emphasis of community and let students know that they're not alone. So my intervention overview, in researching for my topic, I did find a study that specifically talked about between the time frame of April of 2020 to April of 2021. Oh, sorry. There was an increase of opioid deaths ranging between the ages of 18 to 25, about a 35% increase, which also in partnering with the UTC Center for Wellbeing, they also conducted a study a little bit after that from the year of 2022 and found that about 27% of their students were not aware of how to respond to an overdose. And this does come from the Hamilton County area and Tennessee as well. We actually have a higher rate of overdose deaths here than the actual national average. And so UTC decided to formulate plans, the MOX recovery unit, on how to combat this. And the study that I looked at, as well as UTC, found that there is a opportunity of intervention between the ages of 18 to 25 if you educate students on the risk associated with fentanyl and where they can find the law. So the results from our study concluded that about 98% of students were aware of the risk of fentanyl, but about only 69% of students were knowledgeable on how naloxone could help and where they could receive it on campus. And I really want to put an emphasis on that we want to diminish that lack of knowledge on naloxone because it is really, really crucial in saving a life. Hamilton County specifically found that in 2021, the rate of EMS administrations of naloxone also reduced the death rates. And then there was also additional reports of like people who self-reported them using naloxone to intervene, helping to buy time for EMS workers and save lives. So my conclusion, overall, I concluded that this study can help to save lives as well as allow universities to create a target action plan to help inform students. My own personal takeaways, in partnering with the UTC MOX Recovery Unit, I was able to receive training on how to administer naloxone, as well as look for the signs of an overdose. So I do call you guys to, if you don't know how to administer naloxone, please find somewhere that you can receive knowledge on how to do it. It's quite simple. And then usually most places are willing to pass it out, such as hospitals or your own universities. Hopefully they do have a place. And it's really simple. Usually it comes in two forms, either a nasal spray or an injection. Most of the time people can get their hands on a nasal spray, and it's really as simple as just, helping someone and, injecting it up their nose and then calling the authorities and helping them. So my acknowledgements, I'd like to thank the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, specifically Dr. Frost and Ms. Ellis for helping me with this project, the UTC Center of Wellbeing, and Meharry Medical College for giving me this opportunity to be a part of the HBCU Wellness Project.
Thank you, Kara. Great job.
Awesome job, everyone. So now for this next group, I have a couple questions for you all. And also, if anyone else has any questions, you can utilize the chat. You can come off mute. But my first question is, what was the most important lesson that you learned throughout this research process? And anyone can take that.
I'll go first. The most important lesson. I feel like things are not gonna always go the way you want them to go the first time. My national event, I got maybe 25 participants, but I wanted 50. So I was like, things are not always gonna go how you want them to go. But one thing Dr. McGee told me at the event, if you help one person, you did something today. So with me just helping the couple, like 25 is not a small amount, but with me just helping the couple of people that rolled in, I did something today. So.
Absolutely, Payton. We've seen that throughout the project. So good job. And good job for staying focused, even when you didn't see exactly what you wanted to see, because you're doing important work. Does anybody else want to answer that question before we ask another one?
Yes, can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Sure. What was the most important lesson that you learned throughout your research process?
I learned the importance of going into the community. So like I did have like some connections, but sometimes you're not gonna, well, I did the same project last year, but I focused on breast cancer survivors in the community. But this year I focused on the knowledge that college students have for breast cancer. So I know I learned that last year I had to actually go into the community, and I had to go to some church events. That church event actually had an event full of breast cancer survivors. So that's how I was able to really get most of my participants through like family connections as well. So I think it's important to just talk to everyone. Like you might like think about a certain amount of people or a few people, but just don't think about those people. You need to think about everyone. Just really branch out if you really need to get your participants. And then that's also great to connect with people, because I've connected with a lot of people that I will be staying in contact with for the future. So I think that's very important.
And those connections are very important because, you have a future career in health and even public health. So I think those connections are super important. So thank you for that. Did anyone else want to answer that question before I move to the next one? Okay, so for all of you who've done your research, what is the one takeaway you wanted all of your participants to take from your topic, your research, what you're doing? What is the one thing you wish everybody was able to take away from your event?
Hey everyone, I'm Madison Figueroa, senior biology major at Fisk, as well as the third year student health ambassador for the HBCU Wellness Project. My topic was exploring the correlation between domestic violence and substance abuse. And one thing I would want everyone to take away is the importance of advocacy, because especially in those underserved communities, they don't really have a voice that can go and speak for them. And so we're that voice. And advocating for those communities to get the resources that they need is really important. So that's one thing I want them to take away.
Thanks, Maddie. Anybody else?
Yes, I will go again. This is Janasica. I'm Janasica Joyner. I'm a senior chemistry major at Tennessee State University. One key takeaway that I would have is to act before something actually negative happens. I think it's very important to have preventive measures before something actually happens, and then try to act on it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Anybody else want to go before we move forward?
Could I go?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm Anna. I did mine with the single mothers and food choices. My takeaway that I want people to learn is just see who you can help in your immediate community, especially on college campuses. It's easy for us to get caught up in our own things that we need to do in school and our social lives. But there's so many different students on campus that might not have as easy of a college life as you, and sometimes, they want that experience too, and the best way for them to get that experience is for other people to also help them. And yeah, that's mine.
Thank you, Anna. Did anybody else want to answer that one? And I'll open this to any of the student health ambassadors or any of the presenters tonight. If you can say something to any student who may be thinking about becoming a student health ambassador, what would you say to them?
Oh, did you want to go?
You can go. I'll go after you.
Okay.
Okay. One thing I would say is don't be afraid to go out and ask. Because like with my event, everything was in person. So I got connected with Heather Snell at the health department, and she gave me a list of 25 different people with 25 different organizations, right? And she was like, you have to ask them, you have to call, you have to email. And I just had to put myself out there. And this project teaches you that, yes, we might be in college and yes, we might be young. And we know that stigma that's held over our head, like, oh, you're just not learning life or you're just not getting out there. But with being able to put on this whole big health expo and have over 15 vendors there, I'm not just young. I'm not just getting out there, right? So, like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And this project has most definitely taught me that. And, like, another thing this project will teach you is public speaking is very important. We speak literally maybe like once a month. Like, we're speaking all the time. So it really helps you build that confidence within yourself to know, I know what I'm talking about. I'm confident in what I'm talking about. And I'm able to present this to any crowd, any size. And I'm able to know that I'm confident behind what I'm saying. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, Payton. Go ahead, Kyron.
Piggybacking off her idea about never being afraid to speak, like getting used to public speaking, even outside of your presentations, like when you're networking with other people who has done the same research, you find like new avenues when it comes to like doing whatever research you have. So like no idea that you have when you're wanting to research or learn about it is ever too small, because when you go to these different conferences or things like that, somebody else may listen to your project and they'll be like, oh, actually my research is on this and I never thought of this avenue. And then that could be something that you never thought about. So it just shows you like whatever small umbrella you may start with within this project, whether it's just something like focusing on domestic violence or infant mortality or focusing on mental health, and like just that small umbrella, it gets so much bigger. So any idea that you want to research off of, there is always somebody who's already looking into that research already or just starting up. So they're looking to pick somebody else's brain or see what else that you have to bring to the table. So really never be afraid to like put yourself out there, because there is somebody always looking to do more research on it too.
1000%. We've learned that over the last several years. So thank you for sharing, Kyron. Batoul?
Based on that, I would also say like always be curious, always be open to new ideas, but also be open to sometimes failing and sometimes not having what you expected. We talked about participants. Participants is something we are always surprised by. We never know. Sometimes we're surprised positively, sometimes we're surprised negatively. So be open to that, be willing to find a solution for that and problem solve. But I would say like the key to all of this is to find a project you're passionate about. Because if you're passionate about a project, you're gonna find a way through it and you're gonna succeed no matter what. You're not gonna give up on it.
That's 100%. Because especially if you're someone who starts and you're doing it 2 and 3 years, finding a topic that you're passionate about so you can continually develop it. 100% on track, Batoul. Thank you. Talasia?
Hey you all. I just want to say for all the prospective student health ambassadors in the chat or in the meeting to take every opportunity that the program offers you, whether it's being to get the opportunity to go to Exula. I know some students went to the Capitol this year, and then also going to the summer training, even though it's only required for 1 year. I say go every single year that you're in the program because they will put you in rooms that you would have never expected to be, and the networking opportunities are amazing. And it's really personally helped me to really be solidified in the career that I chose to go into healthcare.
I would also love to add on to what Talasia just said, as far as the networking opportunities. I know we talk a lot about the presenters that come and talk, and the community partners that we make. One of the biggest takeaways that I've had from HBCU Wellness is the other students, like my fellow peers from these different universities. I've made connections that will definitely last a very long time. I'm gonna keep up with them, keep checking on their socials, seeing where they are in their journeys, because these are very special people, and these bonds only get deeper when we go to things like Talisha just said, like going to Zula, like going to the Summer Institute, not just one, but 2 times. If you're a third year, go 3 times. I went all of my years, and I never regretted it. I just love these people, love the people who organize it all. Great experience. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Thank you, Sophia, very much for that. And we do, we want you guys to come, and because sometimes we even have different information. Batoul, thank you for letting everyone know who's not familiar with Zula, what Zula stands for, because that's helpful because we have all our acronyms and abbreviations and we use those. So, you know, we love having you guys here. We love watching you all grow, move forward. And like they said, take all the opportunities, but public speaking is something that you all will do. You'll have to become more comfortable. So thank you to all the students who presented tonight. It is not an easy feat, and we understand because public speaking is something that can provide angst sometimes to individuals. So for you all who have agreed to speak, thank you for doing that. We appreciate you. And so now we're going to move into something that's a little bittersweet for me because we're losing so many students that have been with us for 2 and 3 years, but we're going into our senior acknowledgement portion. So today we just want to take a moment to honor our graduating seniors, all the student health ambassadors from all the participating campuses. You guys have demonstrated leadership, dedication, true commitment to improving the health outcomes of Tennesseans, and we thank you for doing that. We're so proud of you, all of us from the coordinating center, your individual campus staffs, of all that you've done, all that you will do. You know, we'll always be here for you all moving forward. If you need anything or if you need us, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will have a small gift of appreciation for all of the seniors. So please make sure seniors from every single campus that Mrs. Scott has your forwarding address to wherever you're going to be after you leave school and whatever email address you'll be using. So her email, I will put it in the chat if for some of the other campuses, if you don't have it. But Mrs. Scott, please get that information, your email address, where you're going to be after school, and your mailing address. But seniors, we really appreciate you. So we'll start with Fisk University. Miss Alaina Carter, she's been with us for 2 years. Kyron Clopton, I can't believe it. My goodness, you, Maddie, Erica have all been with me for 3 years, and I'm going to miss you guys greatly, but I know you all are going to go and do amazing things in the future. Daviana, she got to talk to you guys a lot tonight. Sarai, Talasia, thank you for sharing too. Miss Sophia, she's one of the first students that was selected in this batch of the 3. So we're definitely going to miss working with you. Me and Catrice, Sophia, I don't know. It's hard to let you go with that multiple myeloma. At Lane College, Miss Michaela Jones has been with us for 3 years, and she did get opportunity to come to the Summer Institute multiple times. So we are going to miss her. Miss Erica Reynolds, with her 1 year of service. And Maya Lewis from the LeMoyne Owen College. Janicia Madison, 1 year. Malia McDonald, she was with LeMoyne Owen for 2 years. Middle Tennessee State University, Miss Batoul Sawas for that 2.5 years because she came in the middle. Tennessee State University, Big Blue, Miss Janasica Joyner. She has been with us. She is small but mighty, and she has been with us for 3 years. Leah, we're going to miss you. Leah is a December graduate, so we have her for a little more time, so we may see her this summer. And Miss Payton. Oh, I love me some Miss Payton. Miss Payton Wright. And then with the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Nadia White. She's been with the project for 2 years. So just know, you guys, you know, we say this, we actually really mean it. If you all need anything from us moving forward in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are so grateful for all the work you've done. We've loved seeing you grow, and I've really seen so much growth in all of you. So thank you. We appreciate you. And if you need us, please don't hesitate to reach out. So moving into this next segment. So this next segment, I don't know that we did this last year, but we've done it in the past. So we have brought it back. A lot of criteria has gone into this. And so At this time, we want to acknowledge our Student Health Ambassador of the Year. This individual has demonstrated exceptional consistency, dedication, and leadership throughout the entire year. She's never been missed a deadline. She's always on time, and her consistency goes above and beyond supporting everyone from her school and other institutions. Without further ado, it is my honor to recognize Batoul Sawas as our Student Health Ambassador of the Year. Congratulations, Batoul. I'm going to miss you. You have been a pleasure to have. Thank you for helping everyone. Thank you for doing things without having to be asked. And so we know you're going to do great things working on your PhD at the University of Southern Mississippi. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. So I'll turn it back over to Dr. McGee.
Well, this once again has just been a wonderful demonstration of what can be done. I'm a little emotional about some of you that are leaving, well, all of you that are leaving, because I just got an opportunity to familiarize your names with good outcomes, and you all have done wonderful, wonderful work. The Tennessee Department of Health has now formalized the presentation of your work, so they utilize not only our website to look at your work, at your posters, but now I have to every 6 months to complete an outcomes metric. And what that outcome metric symbolizes for me and for them is the number of individuals that you have reached, the findings of your pre and post surveys, and the next steps, what they call what they call, where do you go from here? And so you all have done outstanding in communicating what you see as the next steps. So all of this, so our policymakers, our legislators, our community partners, they are all looking for strategies. They're looking for ways to really move the needle, things that positively impact the citizens of the state of Tennessee. They want us to do more. You heard Mr. Lawrence Hall allude to hopefully more funding. We've asked for more funding so that we can do more. And the reason behind that is really because what you're doing is so important. We just don't want to miss opportunities. We want to be mindful of what the gaps are and work to fill in the gaps. Over this last year, we saw those efforts translate into the work we did with the hypertension study, with multiple myeloma. And while multiple myeloma is, a national foundation that came to us, what we have come to understand is that it does disproportionately impact communities here in the state of Tennessee, people who did not even know what multiple myeloma is. And so for the folks that are caring for individuals with multiple myeloma, the findings that you've brought forth will be helpful in looking at what those strategies are. I heard someone talk about the importance of promotion and marketing. Well, promotion and marketing is just another way of speaking to how we educate, how we inform, how we communicate what it is that, not so much when I say we, I'm talking about academic health centers, providers, but what the community residents are saying are needs, things that they need that we may not be aware of. And so we are going to continually work to address those gaps. We want to work to expand our capacity to do what it is that we do and have been doing for 20 years. So 2006, we began with an idea that was written out on a napkin, and it has evolved into what you all are a part of now. And we want to continue that momentum. While the funding is recurring, we need more funding. We want to formally bring to the fold the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Middle Tennessee State University, Austin Peay State University, Tennessee State University. We want to formally bring those academic institutions with their student body, to this opportunity, to this experience. And so we really encourage you to share what we're doing with your peers so that they know. If you also go to the website, not only to look at the posters, you all can also look at where are they now. And you see success stories. Not us measuring success, but how the students, our former student health ambassadors, have defined success for them. Sometimes you start with one idea, but through this experience, you start thinking of other health career trajectories because we are focused on health careers. We are really wanting to be that workforce development engine, for the state of Tennessee in the arena of health. So share this with your peers. I hope that we are going to see all of you, with the exception of our seniors, at the Summer Institute, which starts July 15th, runs through July 25th. On July 20th, we will do a formal recognition of 20 years of doing student development and community engagement. And so we want you to be a part of that recognition. Here's some of what our former students are doing and how they see going forward. How do we go forward? How do we take all of the information that you have gathered, not only collectively, but individually? How does that work to prepare you for what it is you want to do after graduation? So for some of you, coming to the Summer Institute is mandatory. For others, we don't make it hard and fast that you need to come, but we encourage you to come because, again, there are different experiences that you will have the opportunity to have. There are different people that you'll have the opportunity to meet that may be helpful. I just want to take a moment and recognize Dr. Frida Outlaw, who has been a faculty mentor for this program for over 13, 14 years now. And she does this from the heart. She is a nurse by training. She is an educator from the heart. And so, Dr. Outlaw, are you on still?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm barely hanging on because I'm getting old and it's getting late. I'm getting sleepy.
That's all right. Say hello.
Yes, but I'm here. Yes, it was exciting to hear all of the reports and all the interest that you're taking in the different um, health disparities. It was exciting. And multiple myeloma, I know that people don't talk about it much, but Black people have been dying from it for a long, long time. And so I was really excited to hear that added to the repertoire. And then all the things that are prevalent in our disparities, like depression and HIV and all of those things. Although they've been out there a long time, there's a lot to learn about all of these things. And all research changes. Everything changes. An example is when I was a young woman and had a hysterectomy, they wouldn't give you estrogen afterwards because they said it was connected to heart disease and strokes and all that. And now all of us in this generation have crazy osteoporosis and all of those kind of things because we didn't get the estrogen. And so they now know that that was probably a mistake because the risk, the benefits did not equal the risk. And so here we are. So you all will have a long time to do study and to look at it and read about it and see it change. And I think an important thing to do is explain to our communities why it changes. because that's a part that sometimes they think that, that something is wrong because it's the approach is now different. That's because we know more. So I congratulate all of you on all of your hard work. And I'll be looking to see what you do in the future.
Thank you so much. It is just so heartwarming for me to look at our faculty and staff and to see the consistency, which is really important, as we work to develop all of you and keep you connected to the community, to community-based organizations, so that you learn more. It's an opportunity for you to learn more. It's an opportunity for you to thrive, not only, again, for the work you do for your demographic that you choose, but also for yourself as individuals. No matter what path you take, we are hypothesizing that you will be better for the path that you endeavor to take because of this experience in working with the HBCU Wellness Project. So thank you to all the faculty, to the staff, to all the campus coordinators. Just thank you. And we most especially want to thank our legislative advocates at the State of Tennessee Black Caucus, who really does champion this project. Even though we have the recurring funds, they are always looking for ways for us to get additional funding to do more. And so we are very thankful for them and for their tireless efforts against sometimes insurmountable odds, but they continue to advocate for the Wellness Project. I want to give a special thank you to Joyner Woods, who keeps us organized,
She does.
keeps us really responsive to how we communicate what we're doing. And as I heard some of you talk about her assistance with your projects, well, she does that individually, but she also does that for the HBCU Wellness Project, and we are just very grateful to her. And so, if there is nothing more, we are going to disconnect early, but with grace and with gratitude for all the work that you've done. And I appreciate all of you acknowledging your community partners for which you wouldn't have been able to do your work if it wasn't for them. And we just continue to extend gratitude to them. All right. Well, thank you so much. Here's the information Joyner wants you to be mindful of. Mark your calendar for our 2026 Summer Institute, held July 15th through the 25th. As I said, on July 20th, it will be a formal day of recognition of our 20 years. Our founder, the founder of the HBCU Wellness Project, Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice, who is now president and all things at Morehouse College, will be here to encourage us to keep moving forward. And if you want to apply to be a new student health ambassador, for those that are contemplating whether or not this is something you want to do, hopefully you've been inspired and encouraged. So when that application portal opens on May 1st, you're on it and you're sending us the information and awaiting our response. So we encourage you to do that. And if there are those that weren't here, feel free to direct them to our website for information that may be helpful in whatever decision that they may make. But thank you again for all that you've done, and look forward to seeing your work on our website in a few weeks. And we will continue to move forward. And so our tagline always is wellness for our future, wellness for our communities, and fitness for our future. And just keep that in mind as you move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And as a note, our application is open currently. It opened earlier this month, and it will be open until May 1st. So for any student hoping
thank
to
you.
apply, application is open now, but it will close on May 1st.
Okay, thank you.